Ever thought that the concrete jungle you live in could become an oasis of green? Imagine looking out from your high-rise apartment and seeing not just a sea of concrete and steel, but a vibrant jungle of green, a living tapestry of plants and flowers. This isn't some far-fetched dream, but a reality for many urban dwellers around the globe. Welcome to the world of urban gardening, a growing movement turning the smallest of spaces into flourishing mini-farms. Urban gardening is a way of life that's catching on fast. From New York to New Delhi, people are finding that you don't need a sprawling backyard to grow your own food or enjoy the benefits of greenery. Instead, they're using balconies, rooftops, patios, and even windowsills to cultivate everything from herbs and vegetables to flowers and shrubs. Why the sudden interest in urban gardening, you may ask? There are several motivating factors. First, there's the allure of fresh, homegrown produce. The satisfaction of biting into a tomato you've grown yourself is unmatched. Plus, it's a surefire way to know exactly where your food is coming from, and that it's free from harmful pesticides and chemicals. Second, urban gardens can improve air quality. Trees and plants absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen, making them natural air purifiers. Plus, they can help to reduce the urban heat island effect, a phenomenon where city areas are significantly warmer than their rural surroundings due to human activities. Lastly, urban gardening can be a fantastic hobby. It's relaxing, rewarding, and can even be therapeutic. After a long day of work, tending to your urban garden can be a great way to unwind and disconnect from the hustle and bustle of city life. So how can you transform your urban space into a green haven? Whether you have a small balcony, a rooftop, or just a sunny windowsill, there are ways to make your concrete jungle bloom. Let's dive in. Every great garden starts with a great location. When choosing the right space for your urban garden, there are a few key factors to consider. Sunlight is the lifeblood of any plant, so find a spot that gets plenty of it. East or south-facing spaces are usually your best bet. However, even the gloomiest corners can turn into lush, green retreats with the right shade-loving plants. Space availability is another consideration. Whether it's a sprawling rooftop or a tiny balcony, every inch counts in the urban jungle. So get creative. Think vertical gardens, hanging planters, or multi-tiered plant stands. Accessibility is crucial too. You'll need to water, prune, and pamper your plants regularly, so make sure your garden is easy to reach, and not a trek to the top of Mount Everest. Remember, urban gardening is all about making the most of what you have. Once you've found the right spot, it's time to decide what to grow. Not all plants are created equal, especially when it comes to urban gardening. Indeed, the selection of suitable plants is an art that can make or break your urban garden. So, how do you choose the right plants? Well, it's a mix of understanding your environment and knowing your plants. Firstly, consider the size. Yes, that tiny sapling might look adorable in the nursery, but remember, it's going to grow. Ensure you have enough space for your plant to flourish without overcrowding your little green oasis. Next, consider the growth speed. Some plants like bamboo grow at an astonishing pace and can quickly take over your space. Others, like the bonsai, require the patience of a saint. Choose plants that align with your gardening goals and patience level. Now let's talk about sunlight needs. Your urban garden might be on a balcony with full sun exposure, or it might be in a shaded patio. Every plant has a unique relationship with sunlight. Some need full sun, others partial shade, and some can manage in low light conditions. Understand the lighting conditions of your garden and choose plants accordingly. Now that we've covered the basics, let's get into some specific plant recommendations. If you're new to this, start with something hardy and forgiving. Snake plants, for instance, are great for beginners. They're tolerant to most light conditions and don't need frequent watering. Plus, they add a beautiful vertical element to your garden. For those with sun-soaked spaces, consider succulents. They're drought-resistant and thrive in sunny conditions. Plus, their variety in shape, size, and color adds a unique charm to your green space. And if you're dealing with shaded areas, ferns are your friends. These leafy beauties love low light and add a lush tropical feel to your urban garden. With your plants selected, it's time to get your hands dirty. But remember, the real joy of gardening is in the journey, not just the destination. So take your time, enjoy the process, and watch your urban garden come to life. Now the real fun begins, setting up your garden. So you've chosen your space and picked out your plants. It's time to get your hands dirty. Let's start with the soil. The foundation of any good garden is high-quality, nutrient-rich soil. Look for organic potting soil that's specifically designed for containers. This type of soil is perfect for urban gardens because it's lightweight, drains well, and is packed full of the nutrients your plants need to thrive. Once you've filled your containers with soil, it's time to plant your seeds or seedlings. If you're using seeds, follow the instructions on the seed packet for how deep to plant them and how far apart they should be. If you're planting seedlings, make a hole in the soil that's big enough for the root ball, place the seedling in the hole, and gently cover the roots with soil. Remember, plants need room to grow, so don't overcrowd your containers. Now let's talk about water. Plants need water to survive, but too much or too little can be harmful. A good rule of thumb is to water your plants when the top inch of soil is dry. Remember that containers dry out faster than the ground, so check your plants regularly, especially in hot weather. Consider setting up a watering system, like a drip irrigation system, to ensure your plants get the right amount of water. But what if your space is limited? Well, that's where vertical gardening comes in. Vertical gardening is a great way to maximize your space. You can grow plants on walls, fences, or trellises, or use hanging baskets or stacked containers. This way, you can grow more plants in less space, and your garden can reach new heights, literally. In a vertical garden, consider growing plants that naturally climb, like beans, peas, and cucumbers, or trailing plants like trailing petunias and ivy. And don't forget about herbs. Many herbs, like mint and thyme, do well in containers and can add a wonderful fragrance to your garden. One last thing, don't be afraid to get creative. Your garden is a reflection of you, it's your little oasis in the concrete jungle. So, experiment with different plants and containers, play with color and texture, and most importantly, have fun. Gardening is not just about the end result, it's about the process. It's about connecting with nature, even in the heart of the city. And there you have it, a garden in the middle of the city, but how do you keep it thriving? A garden is a living thing and needs care to flourish. Just like all living things, your urban garden has its own unique set of needs to keep it healthy and thriving. Watering, pruning, and dealing with pests are all part of the urban gardener's routine. Now, watering is more than just turning on a tap. It's about understanding your plant's needs. Some plants prefer a good soak while others like a light misting. Get to know your plants and their preferences. Remember, overwatering can be just as harmful as underwatering. Pruning, on the other hand, is like a trip to the barber for your plants. It's all about cutting back the old to make way for the new. Regular pruning keeps your plants healthy, encourages new growth, and helps shape your garden. It's not just about aesthetics, but about promoting vitality. Of course, we can't forget about those pesky pests. They're an inevitable part of gardening, but there are ways to keep them at bay. Organic gardening is one such method. By avoiding synthetic pesticides, you not only keep your plants healthier, but you also do your bit for the environment. There are plenty of natural pest control methods out there, from homemade sprays to beneficial bugs that eat the pests. With a little love and care, your concrete jungle can be a green oasis. Remember, the key to a successful urban garden is to understand and cater to its needs. So, roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty, and let's make our cities a little greener. Urban gardening is not just a trend, it's a lifestyle. It's about transforming those concrete corners into green, life-filled spaces. We've explored choosing the right spot, picking the perfect plants, creating your own urban garden and keeping it thriving. It's a rewarding journey, one that brings a touch of nature into our urban lives. We hope this guide encourages you to start your own urban garden. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more gardening tips. Happy gardening!